Hi, Tom. Thank you so much for doing the very encouraging and inspiring campaign with your swim from Spain to Africa, which you kindly decided to dedicate to supporting the laptop program of Ukraine France that supports children who are stuck in remote learning because of the war in Ukraine and they have lost one or both of their parents. And you have raised the support with your campaign, and that would be really exciting to learn, first of all, the details about the swim, because I know that it was pretty difficult to get into. It took you 8 years on the wait list, and the water was pretty cold to swim in. So that would be exciting if you share more about how the preparation went, what it took to be there, and why did you decide to support specifically the program of Ukraine Friends for that campaign?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Katerina. So the first one, what was the swim about? Well, the swim is a swim that crosses from Spain to Morocco. It's quite a famous piece of water because it's, first of all, it's quite rough because of the weather conditions. There are a lot of boats that go through there on a daily basis, almost 400 container ships of rather large sizes. And I had an opportunity to swim. It's between 16 and 22 kilometers, depending on the currents and depending on the tides. And there's a huge waiting list, as you indicated. Almost 8 years I kind of waited to get on the waiting list, but I had the opportunity to swim across. I managed to get across in 4 hours and a half. Spent quite a long time in 16 degrees water with some big waves bouncing over me, a bit like being in a washing machine. But it was exciting, and it was really fun. And one of the things that kind of motivated me during the difficult times of training and also the difficult times in the swim was the laptop program for Ukraine Friends. For me, I think it's an incredible initiative that you're doing. I think there are a lot of people in lots of countries that have laptops which they haven't picked up or used for many of a year. And it's incredible how the donation of a gently used laptop to someone in Ukraine and a child in Ukraine can actually really help change their life for the better. I think we all agree it's a universal civil right and human right for people to have access to education. And I think by having an access to a laptop to enable you to remotely connect to schools and also work and see your friends is an incredible, important part. So brilliant campaign. I'm really proud to help support it. And it was great that I could dedicate the swim towards the charity.
Tom, this is very impressive. I would say that majority of families that we are delivering the laptops to are experiencing really big struggles with purchasing a device due to financial constraints because they lost one of most common it is to lose a father to a war, but sometimes the family members would die just because of the air attacks and the damage of infrastructure and the homes that they were in. And your campaign really helped us to get more attention to that. And this is a very inspiring example. So that would be really interesting to learn about what was the feedback of people who supported your swim, because you raised laptops, financial help to support the logistics. What did you hear from people who wanted to support your campaign?
Yeah, the feedback I got today on the campaign was incredibly positive. Only 2 days ago, I had a colleague reach out to me and say, look, I've spoken to the business. I've got 60 laptops, which I want to donate. And, that is fantastic. 60 almost new laptops being donated. And I think people feel that by donating the laptops and by contributing to the cause, they can see a direct impact and positive effect to the people, to the Ukraine. The conflict has been going on for a long time now. We've read a lot about it in the press. We've followed it. It does impact what we do on a daily basis. And I think people feel at times a little bit helpless. But by having this kind of very specific and targeted cause and charity and program, it gives people a much better opportunity to positively help and positively impact.
Thank you so much for that. And what do you think about the general awareness of people about the war going on in Ukraine already for the third year in the UK and in Europe? Because we definitely see that with lots of events going on in the world, Ukraine is not that much on the global media with the daily attacks on their cities. What would you think about that? And what would you recommend those who want to stay aware about what's going on in Ukraine and somehow participate in supporting humanitarian efforts?
Yeah, it's a great point. Look, there's no doubt after 2 years, 3 years after a long conflict, that some of the media coverage starts to drop off, and that impacts people's awareness. But a lot of the, I would say, quality journalism out there are still covering what's going on in Ukraine on a very regular basis. I also think that there are a lot of friends and families that I know who have been directly impacted, people who have offered their homes up to people from Ukraine who have been staying with them, people who from Ukraine have relocated to the UK during the conflict. So I still think that there is a huge amount of awareness, support, and empathy for the conflict which is ongoing. But I do think that causes like this, the efforts by Ukraine friends, are really vital to ensure that the charity and the efforts are staying in the media, and we're maintaining people's awareness. So I think we all need to do our little bit to ensure that people understand what's going on and understand the human stories behind what's going on, which I think is the most important part.
Thank you so much for that, Tom. We are, all of our team in US and Ukraine are very inspired by your efforts. Our CEO has a trip to Ukraine coming up, and we'll be really excited to deliver the laptops to more children. A laptop to a child who used to study from a smartphone shared with their siblings means the world to them. So we would be very happy to deliver more devices and definitely share all the pictures and feedback from that. And maybe you have the small message to people who work in security, in tech, those who potentially may have the devices that they would not think may have the second chance to bring lots of use. Maybe you will have a small message to them with encouragement to share them.
Yeah, look, I love the security community because I think we care, and I think this is something that Joe's really emphasized. So I think if people really want to care and really want to do something about it, then speak to your IT departments, go and speak to your friends, go and speak to your families. There are so many disused laptops which are lying around, which could be a real lifeline to children and to people in Ukraine. So stop talking about it, take a step forward, and take some positive action.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Katrina.